Hello, everyone. This is Monsaf Afkar, and thank you so much for joining us in this new call of Your Divine Uniqueness. So, yeah, happy to connect with you, whether live or on replay, and really excited that Catherine O'Connor is back on the show. Um, I think at this point, most of you already know her and familiar with her message, her work, and really know how powerful it is. Like the messages that she always brings are very, very inspiring, very relevant to the current energies that we experience. And also, like in parallel, we feel the energetic work that is happening in the background through the like throughout the call, and also if she does a transmission. And yeah, it's like for me personally, it's something that really feels very deep in the heart. It's like you feel the authenticity and the warmth in in uh, in both the message and the energy that she transmits. So yeah, very very happy that she's back today. And for those of you who are new to her, she is the founder of Divine Temple, sacred architect, scribe of infinite knowledge and divine love, and initiated into the lineage of thought. And today's topic is creating your foundation for 2025, the relationship key. So yeah, so should we be sharing about that, about relationships also, and how they are maybe it is the main thing about this physical experience, because everything about relationships, whether with ourselves, with others, with life in general. So it's and also we'll be learning how our relationship to ourselves can really affect everything else, and really can create a more harmonious and joyful and abundant life and relationships with others as well. So yeah, and also we'll have a Q&A where you can ask her your questions. So for that, you can raise your hand by pressing reactions, then raise hand on Zoom, by pressing *9 on your phone. And also you can type your questions on the chat boxes on Zoom and on YouTube. And yeah, so that's Catherine. Welcome back to the show. Happy to have you with us.
Thank you, Monsef. It's always lovely to be here, and it's lovely to be here today. So thank you. Thanks for the lovely
Wonderful.
welcome.
Thank you. Um, maybe in the beginning, would you like maybe to share maybe a little bit about the work you are doing, and also the energy work you are doing, maybe for those who are new to you?
Yeah, sure. So I I work with I primarily work with Toth, who is the scribe of infinite knowledge and sacred architecture. So the work that I bring through has a lot of keys and codes through the frequency and through the channeling. So as I speak, as I speak, the channeled information from Toth or with Toth, there are also keys and codes and frequencies that are always coming through, and these are a form of sacred architect that is multidimensional in the way that it is coming through. So it's working in the different dimensions in which you exist. And it kind of it can work quite subtly, but very deeply, to help you shift your energy body, to shift the some of the outdated ways that may be kind of playing out in your system. So that, I mean, there's so much to kind of say here. But the way, just to kind of keep it really simple, and then we also bring in new keys and codes to support you to step into the trueness of who you are, the fullness of who you are. So the essential work that Toth and I have co-created together is to support individuals like yourself to step into the truth of who you are, to step into your authenticity, your sovereignty as a divine being, as a multidimensional being, also to switch on those other dimensions, like the cosmic dimensions and the divine dimensions within you. And we do that really through a lot of very programs, so that you actually are very contained for a length of time with us as we work together. That's essentially what I'm doing and how we're working. I could say a lot more, but I think that might be enough.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. And so yeah,
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. So we're talking about relationships and also as a foundation to 2025 and why you want to maybe you connect both like this year with the relationships.
Yeah, so the reason, I mean, I haven't spoken a lot about this topic. It's always been something that's been very forefront for me throughout my life. So I began my career kind of a lot in kind of more th other therapeutic realms. Um, so it's interesting that this is quite new for me to start to talk about relationships, or for Toth to start to bring through this information, and he's kind of co-creating it a bit with my art, um, and other divine beings as we deepen into this conversation. Uh, because the energy of my art holds the energy of balance, of harmony, of order, of justice, of kind of integrating the spiritual with the earthly life. And one of the things that's coming through quite strongly at the moment is the key that relationships really are a key to our spiritual evolution. I mean, they always have been. And I think the very first place to dive in is to recognize that we are constantly in relationship. Um, we can't kind of escape relationship on the Earth star. Primarily, the first place, so I might have to get water. The first place we're in is our relationship to ourselves. And that is key. That's our primary relationship, our relationship to ourselves. And that begins with a relationship to all those aspects of ourselves. So the pieces of ourselves um, uh, that are both that we both love and that we maybe not, that we may be unpreferred aspects of ourselves. So what might be called more humane aspects, right through to our divine self. And really the essence is to come into a deep relationship with our divinity. And it's through that relationship to recognizing our own divinity and the divinity within others that we then really start to drop into that, what we call the heart-centered or the love being state. That is our natural state of being. Um, yeah. And then through that, anything that's maybe out of alignment with that becomes really clear and obvious, and we can see it, and then we can choose to let it go. And it's a kind of a much easier process in a way than looking for the dark, looking for the things that are limiting us, trying to shift that, and then trying to find ourselves. It's kind of almost makes more sense to know that to come into a deep relationship with ourselves in order to, and out of that process we truly find the truth of who we are.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And we tried like so many times because many times we try to find that fulfillment or feeling that's the void within, like through outer experiences or outer relationships. We expect others to feel that, but also others they can't be always available for us. So we will have some experiences that reflect to us, or maybe remind us that maybe the fulfillment it can be experienced within first. It's like the outer world. Is just a result of the relationship with self.
Yes, yeah, that's very, very true. Like, yeah. I mean, everything really is a reflection of our relationship to ourselves. The other key that you started to bring in is relationship to others. And relationship to others is then kind of really simple when we have a really strong relationship to ourselves, because we know ourselves, we understand who we are, we understand the shadow, we have more of a sense of the shadow aspects that may still be playing in our own system, or maybe still present with us. So when those come up, we go, oh yeah, that's me. I know that's me. And then we have a really strong relationship with all of ourselves, so with our divine self, and we can really step into that heart space of love and sovereignty. So we're standing in our own truth. We're standing on our side of the 50-yard line. So we're starting to create balance in ourselves. And then when another individual walks in, kind of comes into relationship with us, or we come into relationship with another individual or a thing, an object, or something like money, we can kind of hold our own sovereignty, hold our own authenticity, our own space, know what it is that is us, and out of that place, allow the other person to be themselves. And in the allowing of the other person to be themselves, we then start to create a relationship that's based on truth. It's based in harmony. It's based in balance because we're being ourselves and we're allowing the other person to be themselves. And we're not trying to make anything different. We're not trying to shift anything. We're just in a state of allowance, which is almost a state of acceptance for who the other is and who we are. And out of that, there then is, I feel like I'm going through everything really fast at the moment. Out of that, there is a dynamic that gets created, which we then call the third, or the third space, or the dynamic, the kind of relationship itself then is an entity in itself. And it's from that we have this extraordinary creative space that then arises between us.
Yeah, uh,
Yeah.
absolutely. And in those cases where someone else behave in a certain way that we disagree with or trigger us, does it always mean this is something that reflects something within us, like something similar, or it can be something different?
No, it can actually be something different. And this is where that key of actually being with ourselves, with all those aspects of ourselves, that it's much, much easier to recognize what is ours and what is not. And that's really, really key to kind of relationship with another person. And even a relationship with something like finance. It's like if you're working with clients, it's really key when working with clients as well, that you have such a deep relationship with yourself and a deep understanding of yourself that then becomes there's this natural ability that starts to arise that enables you to recognize when something is actually a trigger, when someone is reflecting something back to you that is really about you, or when it's more about the other individual. And when it's about the other individual, one of the keys is to let go. And I don't mean the guides don't mean let go the individual. They mean let go of what is not yours. Yeah, allow the individual to have their own process around it and to find their own keys and codes and their own way through it, because it's not yours. It doesn't belong to you, so you don't take it. It's, you just allow yourself to truly own your own what's yours. And that is a real skill. And I think that's a skill that evolves, and it's a skill that constantly is evolving. And it can be easier for some individuals than others, just naturally easier, depending on kind of how you're designed as an individual.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And also, as you were talking about that, I thought about our relationship with the collective as well, because you mentioned like discerning what is ours and what is not, and many times I just feel sometimes like some kind of urgency to do something I'm not doing enough, or maybe some kind of fear. But when I take time to look within and know what it is, it can be something that I'm picking up from the collective because of something that it happened in the world or some kind of event. So how do we relate to the collective as well?
Yeah, that's a really good kind of conversation is, yeah, what is ours and what might be the collective. And again, I think there's levels of sensitivity around that. Some individuals are much more affected by the collective unconscious or the collective consciousness of what's happening in the collective than other individuals. So if you do feel that you have a lot of how do you say, if you feel like you're feeling a lot, or even have a tendency to feel like you get emotional, like your emotions kind of do this a lot. Um, it is quite possible that you're tuning into the collective. And I think you have a really good key point, Monsef, is to take the time and space to deepen into what is this really about? Is this coming from me? Is this mine? Is it in some way a reflection of something in me? Is it activating something in me that is good for that might be useful for me to look into and understand a little bit better? Or is it purely that I'm picking up on what's in the unconscious field or in the conscious field of what humanity is experiencing as a whole? And if it's that, then the key is to come back to yourself, and which I think you indicated, Monsieur, is to really come back to you, who you are. And I mean, energetically, you can ask that you be disconnected from the collective consciousness or the collective unconscious that can support you to kind of feel more, to come back into your own sense of state of being. And also what I'm hearing on the higher planes from kind of from Ba'at and from Thoth is that the essential message that they're wanting to bring through is, as you become more and more and more and more and more of who you are, as you deepen into your own sense of self on all planes of existence, on all planes of consciousness. So that's what you can call human, body, mind, feelings, through to cosmic, through to divine. As you really, really, really access all those kind of juicy aspects of yourself, you won't be so affected by others, because your vibration will be all that you ever experience. And in essence, your vibration, this essence of you, this divinity that is you, is essentially love and light. And it is essentially the same as everything and everyone else. So we know we talk a lot about that there's no separation, that you're all one. And the way to really understand that and appreciate that is to come to know yourself as divine. And this is the key.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that. And also, I have a question, like why sometimes it's for us as humans in general, we feel more drawn to like the attractiveness to feeling received by others or loved by others. We feel more drawn to that compared to finding love within ourselves. It feels like connecting to ourselves is not enough. It will not give us enough love or something like that. Does it come from like from birth, or what's the reason about that from your perspective?
Yeah, so it's a beautiful question, because it's pointing to where it may be out of alignment and where it's really in alignment. Yeah. So where it's in alignment is to quickly say that we are social beings. We need connection. Connection is vital on Earth. That's the way we're wired. Yeah, and I could say a lot more about that, but we'll just leave that piece. And then where it's out of alignment, and we'll circle back in deeper into both of these. Where it's out of alignment is where it comes from a sense of lack. It comes from a sense of I'm not enough myself, so I need to connect to someone else to feel okay in myself. And then often individuals, and we can go through many kind of like you might find yourself kind of doing too much in the relationship, or kind of arguing or hiding away, or kind of all the like a lot of the disharmonious things that can, or things that we can do that may be create a disharmonious relationship. So when that which I think is where you're pointing to more, is when we are, or when you might find yourself in a relationship or desiring a relationship out of a sense of that you're not enough, or out of a sense that like if only I could find love, I'd be happy. Or all I want is a relationship. That's it. I just want a relationship. Often, and not always, but often that does come from a sense of not enoughness, or it comes from a sense that yeah, that there's a wounding within that comes from not having had, and if we keep it to this lifetime, that it comes from not having had enough love, really, or enough recognition and acceptance in early childhood. So one of the keys in early childhood, as we grow up, is to be seen and heard and recognized for who we are and supported in that process of growing into our true self or into ourselves. Now, it's very challenging for parents to do that. It's not an easy, it's not an easy road. And so many of us, particularly kind of like in, my generation and maybe, 2 or 3 generations back, it's most likely that there is some wounding around that. And it's likely also that that will connect to past lives. So this is where therapeutic input, I believe, in my experience, is really helpful, because what it creates is that when you have a relationship with another that is in a contained therapeutic environment, what you are doing is you're repatterning or re-experiencing what it is that you maybe didn't fully experience enough of in childhood. Saying that there are many, many, many other ways to start to recognize that being born on earth, the birthright of incarnation is that you are loved outright, and you've always been loved. You're always loved by the divine. You always have had guides around, and love is always available. You are loved outright, regardless, always. And that comes from the higher planes of consciousness. That is natural. That is a given. That just is how the universe works. And it's starting to learn starting to recognize that truth and starting to take that truth in and receive it, to really, really receive that you are loved, regardless. Yeah. And then with that, then there's like it's a can be kind of a dual process, because then as you start to really truly receive love, whether it's from the divine, from another that's able to give it, and then it becomes kind of slightly easier to start to love yourself. Yeah, so there's a lot of talk about self-love, which is essential. But sometimes it's really hard. Like if you haven't experienced it, then how do you know how to self-love? It's like, yeah. So sometimes you do have to receive it in order to then be able to self-love. And then it becomes a spiral where you can then love yourself more, and then you receive more love, because as you love yourself more, you're going to naturally attract those who are willing to actually be there for you in a way that's going to be really supportive. There we go. So that's kind of, I can just feel like there's a shift in the energy field as people are starting to recognize, or there's something shifting for some individuals, or maybe for the group around this. Yeah. So I think there's also can be a lot of beating up around, you can beat yourself up around, oh, I don't love myself, or I need to love myself. So it's also recognizing that receiving love is one of these keys to learning to love yourself. And it's okay. It's a process. We're all in this journey together. We're all doing it. Yeah. Yeah, I get
Yeah.
there is quite a shift happening.
Yeah. I know that, and like from that state of being, it really affects the choices we make, also the relationship we choose to be in, because maybe in the past we were used to adapt to fit in or sacrifice, but it shifts into more like being in a relationship where we can be free to be ourselves, and also where we allow others to be themselves as well. And so yeah, you want
No,
to
keep
say
going.
something?
No, you keep asking. Yeah.
Yeah, just want to ask about, because you want to talk also about the energy of maths and the right relationship. So so the question is, what does that mean for
Yeah,
you?
okay. Yeah. Well, I feel like there's so much information coming in. So we have spoken a little bit about that. So my art is here. She's kind of yeah, she's sort of just kind of entering a little bit stronger. Um, so my dear, as we talk about the energy of right relationship, we're talking about the energy of sovereignty. We're talking about the energy of authenticity, and we're talking about the energy of what we call right relationship. where there is a recognition of yourself as divine and a recognition of the truth of that and the truth of the energy of truth being the opener, the way shower, the divine light that assists you to find that inner truth, to find that inner balance, to find that inner harmony within you, that then becomes the guiding light in all your relationships. And it is through finding your own inner truth, your own sovereignty, your own divinity, your own authenticity, your own desires, your own loves, your own hates, your own path, that which lights your fire, that which you desire, that which is truly, 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 truly you. That you step into a place where you can hold what we call that your side of a relationship. You can hold yourself in truth fully in the relationship, fully, and we're talking about a relationship with another, fully in the relationship with another, fully heart open, fully present with another, and fully present with yourself. So present with yourself and present with another, as the other does the same, as you open your heart to the divine soulmate or the divine client, the divine friend, the divine furry companion. These
ask me to call emergency services or someone you trust.
Or divine, yeah. As you come into relationship with this divine other, this provides a fertile ground for the other to step into their truth and to step into their authenticity, to step into their sovereignty. And from this space, hold the dynamic third that is co-created between the two of you. That is in essence the birthing of new life. And we don't mean the birthing of a physical new life, we mean the birthing of creation, the birthing of new life that is held in the same space, the same place as what you call the creative field, the 0 point. It is the same energy, this creative third, that arises between the two of you, that creates an ever-ending spiral of ascension for both of you. And it is really, it brings through this energy of love, it brings through this energy of truth, and it brings through the process of the embodiment of your divinity for you to experience on life in earth, in this now moment, in the present day and age in which you live. Now, we love the questions and we love being able to be present with you. And we'd like to take a pause here to allow Monsieur to continue to lead this conversation in the way that it has been so beautiful.
Yeah, thank you very much. That was that was very beautiful, and it's also a description of like how we can experience unity consciousness as humans. It's part of what you described right now, and also we received a question from Tanya. She asked, "How about karmic relationship? If you can talk about that on the chat."
No, karmic relationships. Whoa. Okay, so this is a bit more Toth. Okay. So when you're in a karmic relationship, you're in a relationship where you're learning something. You're learning something together. You're working things out. You're working out yeah, how life works on earth through with each other and through each other. And both of you are learning it. And that learning is good. Yeah, it's good. So yeah, it's just a good learning. And once you've learned, it may be that you continue in the relationship and the relationship flowers even more, or it may be that what you've learned is what you've learned, and it's then time for that relationship to transform into something different. So essentially, we would say that what you call karmic relationships are relationships where you're doing a lot of learning, and learning is always a bonus.
Yeah, it's like accelerated learning or fast learning.
Yeah.
Yeah. These experience relationships are very interesting, but also it's like they remind us of our true power and our ability to choose. But also, when we need to have that courage to and honesty to look within and take responsibility also as well. Because many times we feel like a victim and we try to judge the other. The other is the only responsible. But yeah, so yeah, thank you. And also maybe back to what you and Matt shared about that divine connection between different people. So when we are in that state of maybe in that kind of relationship, like maybe how I see it, it's like it's maybe like unconditional love. The more we love ourselves, the more we love others, and the more we love others, like we experience that love ourselves as well. It's like it becomes a circle or some kind of I don't know if I could explain well.
I think you've done a beautiful job with that. Yes. So it become, I would say, like a spiral.
Yes.
So as you give love and receive love, and this creative third, you allow this creative third to blossom, it then creates this beautiful ascension spiral, which is what my art was talking about, where that enables you to receive even more love, to give even more love, and then this creative, that which is created between you starts to create. It's like a it's like an energy and an entity of itself that then starts to feed you as well as have the relationship fed. So yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful constantly expanding, constant, yeah. And you do start to learn about yourself more and more too. I think that's the other piece I think maybe you're pointing to. So this is my art again. So as you're working through this process, as you're becoming kind of more integrated as a unique divine being, there is the up leveling within your own system of that which you call shadow, or that which you call outdated ways of being and thinking, that does come to the forefront in these relationships that are divine relationships, whether they be karmic relationships or kind of divine relationships. There is a natural up-leveling of who you are through the process. So we're not saying it's all smooth sailing all the time, because there is because there is a process of recognizing your own truth and recognizing your own desires, and then coming into relationship with another. So on a practical earth star level, there is always what you call conversation, communication, understanding, relationship dynamics that are part of the process of recognizing and coming into a greater level of heart-centeredness and compassion and understanding for yourself and another, that are part of this process of incarnating the divinity within, or recognizing the divine within. And the ultimate state of being is when you recognize that there really is only the divine that exists.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for sharing that. And maybe one more question before taking questions from the audience is like there are different approaches to attract relationships. One of them is knowing what we want and having a list of what we desire and focus our energy into that. And another one, it's more like exploring the other, like when we attract someone, trying to know what they desire, what they desire, what is their pain as well. It's like learning every aspect of them and respecting that, instead of maybe controlling or comparing them to a list that we had. So uh, what is your perspective about those? And is there a different approach that you see?
Okay, so this is kind of Catherine Toth in my art. Okay, so this is Toth. Catherine's laughing a bit in the background because she loves the question. I think it's an absolutely cool question. So my dear, what we would say is to learn to love yourself. And we know that we've spoken about this earlier in the conversation. For when you love yourself, you will love another naturally. Their warts are their warts. And yes, of course you have desires. Of course you have preferences. And those preferences and desires are valid. They're part of your truth. They're part of your authenticity. They're part of what lights your fire. So of course, it is natural to desire within another certain attributes, certain things. And that is also fine. It is fine to both have your list and have your desires and know what it is that you truly want in another partner. And it is also essential to love them regardless, if you feel that you want to be in a relationship with an individual. No one will ever meet, well, it'll be unlikely. There is, of course, times, but often cases, a partner has attributes that you love and attributes that you maybe don't love quite so much or don't prefer quite so much. And that is okay. This is what makes the universe, the world, such an interesting place, is difference and uniqueness. And as you love yourself, as you love another, this will come into a relationship or a divine relationship that has at the foundation acceptance and recognition that you are loved. Truly, 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 truly loved. Tina atai ishiniti tikiti rana ashinata akaneti. With love, akanati, akanati tia akaneti.
Yeah, beautiful. I really love that. Thank you. Thank you very much. And yeah, can we start taking questions from the audience?
Absolutely.
So yeah, so everyone, reminder that you can raise your hand by pressing reactions, then raise hand on Zoom. And also you can press *9 on your phone or type your questions on the chat boxes. And we received some questions earlier. Vivian, what about children? If ending a marriage or relationship as parents?
Okay. Tana ta akene titia akana akene titia akene tia. 100. We're not 100% certain what you're asking, but what we would say, children simply need to know that they're loved. They need to know that you love them regardless. That the separation, that the choice to separate as parents is the best thing for both of you, for the family and for them. That this is a choice that has nothing to do with them. It has nothing to do with how much you love them. It simply is a process that is an important process for mummy and daddy to move through, or for mum and dad to move through, or for you to move, however you like to phrase it. And the most essential thing for children is to know that they are loved regardless, and that their process is seen and heard, and that is important in your minds. But it's also important that to honor the relationship and where you're at in the relationship, and that it is a choice that you are making that is your truth and is right for you, and therefore it will be right for the children. And in essence, what you're starting to role model for your children is you're role modeling listening to yourself and speaking your truth. So the parents' truth, the parents are speaking their truth, and you're role modeling to your children how to do this, even when it's really, really challenging, even when it's really, really difficult. You're role modeling that this is how life is going to, how life works. That sometimes it is hard to speak the truth. Sometimes people do. Sometimes there are emotions that come up through the process that are less preferred, that are more challenging to process. And again, the way in which to support your children to process any feelings that are coming up is through love. It's through that vibration of love and allowing them to have their feelings, to have their process, to be seen and heard in a way that is really vital for all individuals on the Earth Star, and to reassure them that they are loved, and also that it has nothing to do with them, that they're not, they're not in any way, it's not because of them. It's occasionally, sometimes children can feel that. So it does depend again on the age of the children. If you are really kind of, if that's a question that you feel like you want more support around, then there's some really good individuals or good material out there around how to separate in a way that's healthy.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you very much, Catherine, and also thank you, Vivian, for your question. We have Tina. Can you please unmute yourself?
Excuse me. Hello.
Hello.
Thanks for my mother and I wonder, like, I have done so much work. I have not lived with her since I was 12, but I mean, everything's, but I look at, as far as even my partner died, and then my dad died. 20 years before that, her dad died, and then her partner died within 2 weeks' time. Exact thing. Our health, like everything, just, and I keep on like cutting cords, doing whatever I can to not follow my mom's path. Like even what situation I'm in now, like everything just seems to keep on. I wonder if it's ancestry, if it's something in our family. I feel like it's to be shifted, and she's not doing it, so now I'm here to do it or something. I don't know. Is there anything that I can be guided?
So it is ancestral. And again, these patterns come from ancestral patterns. What I'm a little unclear of, or maybe I missed in what you were saying, is what is the pattern? Like if you could say the pattern in one sentence.
Unworthiness, not love, maybe. I mean, because I know I'm okay with it, but I see it in my mom. My mom has having really struggling deeply, and what's going on between my sister, everything. And every time she calls, I feel like I get right into it again, as much as I cut it all out. I think it's something,
okay.
because when she, go ahead.
Yeah. So what's happening is like, I think you said it, is you're getting right into it again. So, so yes, it's ancestral, but it is also in you, kind of, again, what the guides are really talking about, and what they're showing me, what you're showing the guides, and then they're translating to me, is boundaries.
Yeah.
Very, very simple, learning how to set boundaries.
How do you set boundaries when you think you are? Like I really think I am setting boundaries, but I guess sometimes it's still that, as much as I feel like I've worked the love thing out, because I do love myself. I know I'm perfect as I am, but they don't accept me as I am. Maybe that's where the boundary is, and then I overdo or something. Yeah.
Yeah, that is where the boundary is. The boundary, recognizing that you truly love yourself and that you're a sovereign being with choice, means that you can choose to enter into conversations or choose not to enter into conversations. You can choose to recognize what's yours and recognize what's not yours. So again, it's teasing out, okay, so this is my mother's stuff and this is my stuff. My mother's stuff has nothing to do with me. I don't have to do any healing for my mother.
Yeah.
At all. You don't have to come down and shift the ancestral patterns for your mother. You can shift them for yourself.
So when that happens, I become aware of it just by being aware helps shift that I'm not taking it on even more. Like when I just go, no, that's her stuff. Leave it, send it back to her with love. Or, how do you keep it from besides in my mind? I don't know. I don't want to, I'm not saying this right. I'm not sure how to say what I'm trying to ask. Never mind. Go ahead.
No, it's
I
yeah, I mean, to be fair, it is much more complex when it is a family member, and then again when it's a parent who's an
right.
older parent, you're
Well,
an
I feel
adult.
like it also it's sort of carrying on onto my daughter. Like it doesn't seem like it's like now that's sort of coming between, like her and I were always so close, and now it's some, which I know is maybe different, but then I mean I remember when I started my awakening journey, my first one of the things I heard immediately was ancestry. Look into your ancestry. So I really think I just still have a lot to deal with my ancestors. Because when I looked into them, I'm like, oh, now I understand. Because there's a lot of things that went on. So
Yeah, so there's a bit of energy coming in for you, but essentially it's ancestry. They're showing me a shamanic guide, so maybe a shamanic. You may want to look at a shamanic kind of journey with, look for a shamanic practitioner to support you. Yeah, yeah, and it does come down to sovereignty, like really
yeah,
anchoring
yeah,
it in more for
yeah.
yourself.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
okay,
Send
it's
you
a
all
pleasure.
love. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for your question.
Thank you, Tina. Much love, and yeah, thank you, Catherine, for the guidance. And yeah, we will continue with the questions in a few minutes. And before that, Catherine, I would love if you can tell us about the program you are offering us today. And so I invite everyone to visit the link yourdivineuniqueness.com/Catherine, yourdivineuniqueness.com/Catherine. CATHERINE. Or you can click on the special offer button, which is on the live events page, later on the replay page. The link also on YouTube video description and the chat boxes. And so we have it's a group masterclass happening on February 17 or 18, depending on your time zone. It's the relationship keys masterclass plus one-on-one session, either 30 minutes, 60 minutes, or 90 minutes, depending on the package. So I would love if you can tell us about this program.
Yeah, sure. So the so the special offer, the first offer, or the first offer is a 90-minute masterclass with a 30-minute bonus one-on-one session. The 90-minute masterclass is on developing a relationship with yourself. So it's deepening that. It's my art and Toth will be present, and it is to support you to come into a deeper relationship with yourself. So you come to and you come to like really start to deepen into that divinity, that divine self, through the process of kind of conscious awakening of that which was within. So that's conscious awakening of the divine self, conscious awakening of kind of what you might call more the shadow self as well. So we will do some kind of release work, but essentially it's to deepen your relationship with yourself, to support you to come into that state of authenticity and sovereignty, so that you can then have the type of relationships that are what you deeply desire, which are relationships where you feel really loved, you feel really fulfilled, you feel that they're in harmony, that they have that they resonate with what you really, really desire and what you really, really want. So that's the 90-minute masterclass. And then the 30-minute bonus, we can go a little bit deeper, kind of in a one-on-one setting with on that theme, or if there's another theme, we can look at another theme as well. Then you can add on, or you can have separately a 60-minute transformational hour with myself and the guides, and that can be calibrated to anything that you are wanting to focus on to support you in your life's journey. And then you can also put the two together. You can have the 90-minute masterclass plus the 60-minute one-on-one that then really becomes a 90-minute one-on-one. because you get 30 minutes as well.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you. Thank you very much, Catherine. Yeah, for the masterclass and also for the one-on-one sessions. Always an honor to share your work with our audience. So, and again, everyone, you can sign up for one of these 3 packages on the link yourdivineuniqueness.com/Catherine. yourdivineuniqueness.com/Catherine. CATHERINE. Or you can click on the special offer button, which is on the live events page. Later on the replay page, the link also on YouTube video description and the chat boxes on Zoom and on YouTube. And we have I'm not sure if it's a question or a comment from Nat. I'm in the space between karmic learning lesson relationships and harmonious relationships that are not here yet. Would you like to comment on that?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I'm just taking a moment because it's a beautiful question that may serve the audience in general as well as you. Okay, so Matt, and this is there are others in the audience that may need to hear this as well. So if you feel like this is a message for you, then receive it. So as you are growing out of karmic relationships, Matt, and entering that space of non-duality, that space of inherent wisdom and inherent knowing that you are a love being, that you're a divine being, karmic relationships, or what you call karmic relationships, start to feel very, you can start to feel very disgruntled with them, which is what we're observing, or if they feel very unbalanced, they don't meet you where you're at. And what we would say is to start to let go in your own mind of what we're going to call the need for karmic relationships, the need for relationships where you learn. And it's a jump, it's a leap. It's not a step. Okay. So I think that's the piece that you are needing to hear, is that this is there you go. So this is a leap. This is a letting go and an opening up. And when you let go, it's a letting go. So you totally let go of karmic relationships. You let go of the need for them. You let go of the belief in them. You stop thinking about them. One of the reasons that when Catherine, her current relationships, she was like, oh, it's like it doesn't let it go, so that it's something that doesn't even enter your mind or your field of consciousness that there is even such a thing, and open up, and then start this process of opening up some of those gifts and talents that you have, some of those so it's almost like there is some clearing still that you may want to look at doing particularly around the third eye. And around your throat and around your heart, to start to truly articulate what you want out of a divine relationship, what a divine relationship means to you, how you imagine it might look. There you go. And start working to open up to the divine within you. And as you do so, to open up to these divine relationships and let go. You don't need the karmic relationships anymore. In fact, many, many, many of you don't need them anymore. So you can let them go. Move on to the relationships that are really going to support you in your own unfolding of the divine self, of who you truly are.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you very much, Catherine. And also thank you, Nat, for your question. Let's see. Tanya, can you please unmute yourself?
Yes.
Hi.
Hello, everyone. Happy to see you. So my question is, consciously, I kind of do understand what my problem is in relationship, and I'm trying to put the boundaries for myself more than for other people, But subconsciously, when I start to be emotionally involved, I sleep into the same pattern, and I understand, I realize it. I kind of consciously understand that I'm slipping into these patterns, but I cannot I cannot force myself to kind of not do the same things I always do, like overgiving or things like stupid things, you do in a relationship. How do I, is it still that wounding in me that I didn't heal? Or is it something I have to just make a rules for myself? And, as soon as I see a red flag, I just tell myself, no, not again.
Yeah, there's a relearning. There's absolutely a relearning that is part of the process. There we go.
So it takes time.
Yeah. As we're saying that, there's something shifting in you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So essentially, yeah, there's a relearning, 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 a relearning.
Maybe when I will be 90 years old, I will relearn.
No, much earlier than that. So it's just a relearning. And actually, what's also happening is we're bringing in this energy of relearning, energetically, that's supporting you in the process of pivoting to right relationship.
Okay.
To pivoting to being in true relationship with yourself, which is the essential key for you, is staying in relationship with yourself. It's a relearning of being in relationship with yourself. And out of that, then that pattern of overgiving can start to drop because you anchor in your relationship with yourself so strongly that pattern is not something you're fighting. It's much more it becomes much, like they're bringing in energy for you at the moment. It becomes much more natural for you to say no. That's yours, not mine, not doing it. Sorry, no. And then any fears that arise in you, where you go, oh my God, I'm so frightened I'm going to lose this person. They start to get tested. Yeah. And you learn either that they don't go away because they love you and they want to be with you, or they do go away. And if they go away, they're meant to go away because they're not serving you in that way. There we go. So yes,
correct.
Yeah, exactly. So as the fear arises, just as you come into that divine sovereignty with yourself, as you step back into yourself, and you say, no, I'm not overgiving in this situation. No, sorry. Any fears that arise, allow them to arise, recognize them, love them like hell. Yeah. Allow yourself to love that part of yourself that's frightened. And it's okay. Just keep reassuring that part. Yeah. That they're not losing something. They're not losing something because either it wasn't there or it's not actually going to go away. So talk to that younger part of yourself. Talk to that part of yourself that's frightened of not having love or losing love. And just keep reassuring them that it's an illusion. Either the love you're receiving is an illusion because it's based on conditionality, or the love is actually there and they're not going to go away because they do love you.
Okay. Thank you so much. It is
That's
very
all right.
helpful.
I mean, yeah. Well, it is also, you are shifting as we speak. So
Thank
you're
you
ready.
so much.
Yeah. So hear that, Kit, you're ready. You're shifting very quickly and easily.
Thank you, Catherine. Thank you, Monsef. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanya. Much love. And thank you very much, Catherine. A question from Joshua. Aloha, Catherine. Been moving through feeling the most stuck in many different relationships I have ever been in my life during this new year. Is there any advice or guidance the guides can share?
Okay. So what you're transmitting and what you're showing us is this depth of grief. And your music, and the drumming. We're seeing drumming and hearing drumming. And the truth is that it is a process of grief to lose someone, you know, to move through separation and to recognize, you know, the letting go process of a relationship and of those that you have deeply loved or that have deeply loved you. However it ends, for whatever reason, there's still a grief process. That's natural, that's normal, it's part of being on the Earth Star. It's part of being what you call human. And what you're doing at the moment is going into the depths of that, allowing yourself to traverse it, to move through it. And this essentially is, it's bringing, it's your way, it's right for you. And it's bringing you into a greater sense of harmony and peace within yourself through that process. And what we're seeing with the drumming or the music is that's really supporting you. And the process is something you have decided to do, that on the higher planes you've agreed to do, that's right for you. Is to really feel these emotions and allow yourself to pass through them in the way that you're passing through them. The only piece we might add in for you is you may want to just allow others in a little bit. It's not that you're not, but you just may want to get a little bit more nurturing from the outside world as well, so that you're not alone with it in a way, or that you're not, I mean, we're not seeing that so much, but if there's anything, that's the only piece. And we can see that the Earth Star, like the nature, brings you a lot of that as well. So you're doing it, and there's, how do you put it, there's a lot of star beings with you, there's a lot of ancestral shifting and clearing that's happening. And you have the potential to come out the other side, and you know, there'll be the gift of this process that will become evident as you come out the other side.
Yeah. Thank you, Catherine, and thank you, Joshua. Much love to you. And a question from Rebecca: any words of wisdom on unrequited love? There is grief associated with that also, and self-doubt. Thank you.
Okay. So yes, of course, there's grief associated with that. There is always grief with unrequited love. No, that's not meant to be. Like, it was never meant to be. It was just never meant to be, and that's hard sometimes, you know, as on the Earth Star. So allow yourself to grieve where you feel wounded from it, like where you feel like it's really hurt and you don't understand it and it's confusing. The best piece is to know that it was never meant to be, and that the two of you were meant to meet. And where you are at the moment, yes, grieve. Where it has triggered self-doubt or created a sense of self-doubt in your own kind of wisdom and your own divinity, your own beauty. Kind of love that piece. You know, that piece is asking for healing, and it feels like a wound that's been placed on another wound. So there'll be, it looks like what you're showing us is that there is a wound underneath that, but you haven't yet got to that wound. You haven't yet almost allowed yourself to go beneath, because the wound that you've received from this unrequited love has hurt so much that to then go deeper into what it is that is underneath that is scary or challenging, or you just don't feel like you're ready for it, and that's okay. Just know that it's there, and as you're ready to kind of peer underneath that, there is something else that is asking to be seen, in order for you to kind of fully flower into who you truly are, and then open up to a divine relationship that is going to really support you and nourish you and be really, really, really perfect for you. So in essence, this relationship stepped in to support you to come to know yourself even deeper in this way.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much, Catherine, and also Rebecca. Joshua, you wrote, thank you, Catherine. That brings me much peace and reassurance that I am on the path, and to honor where I am at. Yeah, thank you, Joshua. And Rebecca, she wrote thank you as well. And we have Sue on the phone. Can you please unmute yourself?
Hi, this is Sue. Hi, Monisette.
Hi.
Hi, Catherine. How are you?
Good, thank you, Sue. How are
Okay,
you?
my question is, my mother and I had like a, I call it like water and oil relationship while she was alive. I had worked through, because a lot of it was jealousy, because I was the only child between my father and me. My father and I were very close. He showed me the love. My mom, I knew kind of in my heart she loved me, but never really showed it. But we reconciled when she was in passing. She did tell me that she did love me in her own way or whatever. I notice now I feel her divine love, like the connection kindled. But was that like a karmic thing? Because she always said my grandmother never loved her. I don't think my grandmother had love from her parents. It was kind of passed on to me. Is that maybe the way I should look at it?
It's one way of looking at it. What the guides are saying is that you've come to a really beautiful place of resolution around it. And to hold that, like to place that in the forefront. Yeah, you've come to this beautiful place of resolution and equanimity in yourself around your relationship with your mother. And through her passing, there was a reconciliation. And so they're saying, let go of the past. Don't keep looking at it. There's no point. There's no need to. Just know that you both came down to do what you did together, and you've done it. You've completed it, and it's beautiful that you got to that place. Many individuals don't get to that place, and it can take a lifetime, and it took a lifetime. Took your mother's lifetime. And that's good. You've done it. Let it go. It's done.
I know that's what I have done, because now I really feel her love, and it's like I always like, well, Mom, what about this or that? Or she's still protecting, but it's a different relationship now since she has passed.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I can see all the other questions, and of course, any sadness that arises from how it was, allow that to process through. And to answer your questions around, like, was it karmic or, yes, it was ancestral. Yes, it was an ancestral pattern that passed through to you, that your mother and you have shifted. And that's the main piece. And yes, it was an ancestral pattern. Quite definitely, or it was a pattern that was passed through generations, intergenerational.
That's what I figured that out now, because I thought, well, she always said, my grandmother never loved me, and this, her mom, and I'm like, oh boy, here we go. And I think, like you said, she didn't know how to love me because she wasn't shown it. And I think that was part of the problem, which I recognized as she was passing. Well, I recognize it now. But,
that's beautiful.
I was just curious if my thoughts were right or not,
Yeah, no, your thoughts are right, and it's fine to be curious. And often, understanding can really help activate compassion in us. Like when we understand why another is like they are and how they've come to be like they are, that then can activate a real kind of open-heartedness towards that person for us. So. And then that can create a lot of release and a lot of reconciliation and repair. So
it's a lot of the grief and sadness isn't anymore. It's like she's moved on, I've moved on, but we're still connected.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
But I was just wondering if in my thoughts that's what I thought, but I guess I needed confirmation that I was on the right path of thinking that. So thank you for that. Much appreciated.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for the questions. Beautiful question.
Thank you. And have a great day. Blessings to you, and also to you, Monisette, for taking my question. Guys, have a blessed day.
You too. Thank you. And yeah, thank you, Catherine. And we have a question from Sharon. She feels she was betrayed by her brother who passed away. Also wrote my mother who gossiped the lies my brother created. And my brother created a false narrative about me that I got passed on to my kids. I am estranged from them because of this, and no one wants to talk to me. How can I convey my truth to my children in hope of reconcile? The pain is still very great, and I know I have work to do. Please advise.
Just taking time with us. Okay. Yes. Okay. So a false narrative can, like in reality, it can be very damaging. So energetically, on the energetic planes, you can dissolve the false narrative, or work with someone to dissolve it, so it doesn't exist anymore on the higher planes, on the etheric planes. You can, I mean, you're right, there's a lot of work here to do. Really, I think, and also you're a bit dissociated, so you're a bit out of yourself, which is very understandable because grief can push us out of ourselves. And angry, which is also very understandable. Yeah, so there's a lot in here. Like your question is, there's a lot. Your question, like I would advise, I'd always advise, like you just need more time really to have this question fully answered for you. What I would say is the other piece is, yes, you can heal from this. That's the other, like to reassure you, yes, you can heal. Yes, you can, and it's through your own healing that your children can have the opportunity to return to you. Tina atiti titia rana ashika titi ka ake netia, you need to speak your truth. Tina ashika ake netia, you need to speak it really clearly and really loudly. Tina ashika ake, not necessarily to your children at this stage, and it would help to know the ages of your children. Tina atitia rana ashika tita ake netia, but articulate it, whether you articulate it by writing it down or you articulate it by talking to other individuals. So you get heard, because part of this process of healing is you truly being heard. So whether you talk to friends or you enter into a therapeutic community of some sort, or you talk to someone that you can really, really trust and know that you'll be heard. That's also what you're doing then, is you're speaking your truth, and through speaking your truth, it gets heard on the higher planes, it gets heard on the etheric planes. And yes, a lot of healing around, like bringing yourself back to yourself, a lot of healing around your anger, the grief, the process you went through. There's a lot of, there's healing for you to do as well, because of what you've experienced. And then the other really vital piece in all of this is your children will come back to you as you do your own healing. They will find their way to truth. But it's not something you can probably force. And yeah, so that's just a real kind of like a little bit, it's a brief synopsis. This is a really big question you've asked, and it's not one that I feel that the guides want to go into kind of in more depth than that, except to say that receive love, receive compassion. Love yourself. And also let go of if you can, try to let go of kind of the if only, or the blame, or any of that kind of energy, because it's not going to serve you in your own healing journey. As much as possible, stay in a place of love, regardless of what other people have done. And that doesn't mean you accept or you make it's okay or any of that, but it just supports you if you stay open-hearted. But that doesn't mean you say it's okay. Okay, I think we'll leave it there.
Yeah, she wrote, thank you, much love and blessings. I'm all about unconditional love for myself, at least.
That's
Yeah.
great. That's fantastic. Yeah, and I see you say they're 40. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So yeah, I think you need more time to have this unpacked properly.
Yeah. And yeah, maybe one more question from Annette. Is there a way to learn what kind of healing I need the most?
Oh yes, listen to your intuition. Listen to your gut. Yeah, just listen to your intuition. And if you're thinking about in terms of like different modalities and practitioners and things like that out there, like if you get like a kind of like goosebumps or a shiver or excitement or curiosity or goodness, I just really resonate with that, or I'm really curious about that, then go for it, give it a go. And if it works, fantastic. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. And you've lost nothing by giving it a go. Yeah, that's the answer. Sorry,
Yeah.
I can't actually give you one thing.
Yeah, thank you, Catherine, and thank you, Annette. When she said Linda had a question answered. Maybe I missed it. Let me check.
Does that mean the question's further up in the chat?
Yeah, yeah, and Linda, she left, but maybe she can listen to the replay. Most things I come across are about clearing things in our ancestors' line. Any suggestions to call in and discover the gifts and beauty of what they also carry? Thank you.
Oh yeah, thank you, Linda, for that question. I saw it. So Tina atata ake netia. It's a beautiful question. Tina atitira ashana ake netia ake netia ake netia. Oh, okay. So you're shifting out of calling in all the information around ancestral clearing, and what you're wanting to do is you're wanting to shift to calling in all the information that's out there, because there is lots, around opening up to your divine self, which as you open up to your divine self, to your true self, your gifts and talents and beauty of who you are will naturally become evident. They will naturally unfold. And this is the shift in the paradigm of consciousness that we are, that the earth, that we're a stand for, and that the Earth Star is on, shifting away from clearing, or even shifting away from ancestral clearing to shifting into incarnating your divine self, incarnating your divinity, and having your gifts and talents switched on in that way. Any suggestions to call in and discover the gifts and beauty that you also carry? Okay, so what you can do is sit in meditation and ask for a deep connection to the divine. There you go. So this is possible. Yeah, so this was something that was on the cards to do in this call, but it may come in the masterclass. To create space, like a meditative space, to call in your connection to source consciousness, your connection to the divine. One of the easy ways to do that is through your central channel. And then to call in your divine self, or your divine codes of love and light, the divine that is you, the love and light that is you, and ask that to enter in. Now that sometimes Catherine feels that entering in through the back, like through a light body. So you all have a light body, so you can actually receive from your light body. Or you can call it in through the central channel. And it comes in most easily as an energetic infusion. And as that energetic infusion comes in, ask it to start to switch on some of the gifts that you have, some of the talents that you have, some of the natural things that are inherent within you. Now, saying that, you will already know what your gifts and talents are. You will know what your natural abilities are. Yeah. And the message for you in particular is stop being shy of them. Yeah. Allow yourself to have them. This is you. This is what you're good at. This is what you've come here to do. This is what you can share. This is what you can contribute in the way that you contribute it. It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. There is no need to be shy of that which you know you're good at. I think that's where
Yeah.
they're kind of stopping quite, like, they're kind of saying it and then that's it. So that's it.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you very much, Catherine. And
My pleasure.
yeah, thank you, Linda. Well, I hope she listens to this on the replay. And
Yeah, certainly.
otherwise, like I think the audience are benefiting as well. Yeah. So Catherine, thank you very much for all the time you spent with us, all the guidance, the inspiration, energies you shared. So grateful to you. Thank you.
It's a pleasure. Thank you, Monse, for having me. And yeah, wishing you much love, like everyone in the community. All of you have joined the call. Thank you for joining. Blessings.
Yeah, thank you. And also, everyone, thank you very much for joining us today, whether live or on the replay. And thank you for the comments, the questions, for sharing the space and time in general, and co-creating with us this wonderful experience. And again, I invite you to sign up for one of the packages that's Catherine put together for us. And you can find them on the link yourdivineuniqueness.com/Catherine, yourdivineuniqueness.com/Catherine. CATHERINE. Or you can click on the special offer button, which is on the live events page, later on the replay page. The link also on YouTube video description and the chat boxes on Zoom and YouTube. And the program includes, the package A includes the relationship keys masterclass, which will happen on February 17 or 18, depending on your time zone, plus 30-minute one-on-one private session. Package B includes a 60-minute one-on-one private session, and package C includes the masterclass plus 90 minutes, 90 minutes one-on-one private session. And yeah, so with that, everyone, I'm sending you so much love, and I will see you on the next call. Bye for now.